I think it's worse to just stand pat and do nothing, because then I think it feels like an admission that this season is not very important, is not the priority. And while that might actually be what's happening in-house, you cannot just outwardly present that for the entire season, that like, you know what, we're making these moves because 25 is just a real skippable year in the Steelers organization.
Do you think that's a real thing? You think that they might actually be thinking that in-house?
No, I don't think so. I have a hard time thinking that Mike Tomlin ever would buy into losing as his day job. I think that man just cares way too much. I think Omar Khan is way too competitive to do that as well. I think they do understand, and maybe there is some foresight coming into play here in terms of maybe we do have to get a little bit worse sacrifice in the short term to be better in the long term. But yeah, I don't think they're trying to tank in-house or anything like that. No. I'd be shocked if that ever was the truth or being talked about behind closed doors.
I think Art Rooney would dissolve the Pittsburgh Steelers before he let anybody actually tank. I just don't think that would be the case. But I really genuinely look at it and say the Pittsburgh Steelers have looked at the last two off seasons as, how do we clean house? Where do we go? How do we get rid of all of the noise? How do we completely turn it over so that we can actually go and try to win a Super Bowl? I think they're pretty darn close, to be honest with you. But George Pickens was if George worked, they're so significantly closer, because you keep your second round pick. You don't get DK Metcalf. You just stick it out with George. You make a move at wide receiver, whether it's the NFL draft or free agency or wherever. That's your wide receiver too. And George is the guy that's making $150 million this offseason. If George works out, if he's no trouble, George became an issue, a loud issue, and you had to move on. That had to be the end of George Pickens. All right, so let's close it with this one. What's your prediction? What happens? The Pittsburgh Steelers right now, if week one started today, walk into wherever, whether that's Acrisure Stadium or somewhere else, Mason Rudolph is their starting quarterback unless Will Howard beats them out, and DK Metcalf, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, and Robert Woods take the field as your starting wide receivers. I mean, what happens? The Steelers are the only team right now that it is May 7th, OTA start in a week, and they have no clue what the hell's going on. They have no clue what the hell's going on with this season. What's your prediction for them?
It's a funny one, isn't it? If this is the roster that lines up week one, they are going to be a very bad team. No other quarterback additions, no one else to help the wide receiver depth. They will be a 4 to 5 win football team, and those 4 to 5 wins will not be impressive. It's again, I'm not diving off this panic board just yet. There's so much time, so many little pieces can shake out and change, and then all of a sudden, boom, the Steelers are back. But right now, this roster, not encouraging, not optimistic. No. Offensively, especially, very bad. My prediction would be that this offense would be a stinker.
Okay, but what's your prediction on what happens? Who comes to Pittsburgh? Who starts at quarterback? Who's next to DK Metcalf? What's the outcomes there?
I think Aaron Rodgers is coming in to be the quarterback. The timeline still in flux completely, but Aaron Rodgers will be QB1 for week one. I think DK Metcalf is obviously your number one, and I think they're going to bring in some sort of veteran that they can sign. I think Gabe Davis is the first person that I'm going to think of that kind of fits that bill, but I'm not guaranteeing that Gabe Davis is going to be a Steeler, but I think Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to be the quarterback, and some veteran that has more than a couple years experience will be the number 2, someone like Gabe Davis, and then Calvin Austin at number 3.
And then Calvin Austin, the number 3. I mean, just yikes, man. Just look, we knew it was coming. That's the thing is you knew it was coming the whole time. Anybody who tried, a lot of people tried to deny it. This is stupid. There's not real reports. They aren't happening. And it was coming. Okay. And the reason that everybody tried to deny it is because there's no backup plan. And there still is today, no backup plan. And it's the one piece every season you try to ignore, that one part of the Steelers that you just know is going to bring them down. 2 years ago was, for many years, it was the Dude, the offense looks incredible. We're not going to talk about the offensive line, but they look incredible. And the offensive line was terrible. I mean, Kendrick Green, terrible. And then it was George Pickens and Van Jefferson. Well, Van Jefferson's catching 150 balls every day after practice. He's going to be great. He wasn't. He was not good at all, actually. And the Steelers' wide receiver 2 was a disaster. This year, it is the same thing. I think they're going to overreact, but I don't think it's going to work out. Aaron Rodgers is still my prediction at quarterback. Nothing's changed. Nothing's, to be honest, the Steelers, this stays on par with everything the Steelers have done this offseason with Aaron Rodgers. They have said from the jump that they are not sacrificing their future for a quarterback right now. And that includes saying if George Pickens is not part of our future and we need to prepare for that today, then we don't really care how this impacts Aaron Rodgers. To be honest, we really, really do not care how it impacts any quarterback because our quarterback's coming a year from now. That's how the Steelers have approached this entire offseason. Aaron has respected a lot of that. I don't know if he's going to respect this one as much, if he's going to be as thrilled about this, but I also think that he, at 41 years old, dealing with some stuff off the field already, is not sitting there going, man, George Pickens is known to be the worst diva in the NFL right now. That's an issue. That's a big issue. I think there's a part of him that might be relieved. Aaron's the quarterback. Wide receiver. I do think it's going to be, I honestly do think it's going to be Allen Lazard. Like, I just don't understand how it's not. Like, the Jets have wide receivers. Lazard was good, but was then not good, was then good again. And who knows what's going on. Aaron leaves. Things are weird. I think that the Steelers this is a classic Aaron Rodgers situation where he goes somewhere and then his buddy comes and everything's fine and dandy. And I just think that's what's going to happen. Lazard for a 6th round pick, something like that in maybe the 5th, maybe you send him the 2025 or the 2027 5th and say, bring on Allen Lazard. That's my prediction at wide receiver. Big yikes. Definitely a bit, but we saw it coming. We saw it coming. Where it goes from here, I don't know. Okay. Well, last question I got for you, and then we'll start answering everybody else's. If that turns out to be the Steelers, they get Allen Lazard, Aaron Rodgers. Are they a playoff team?
Gosh, I think they'd be very close to the last wild card spot.
Okay.
There's just I can't. I would have to feign being intimidated by a wide receiver core that is DK Metcalf and Allen Lazard with 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers slinging the ball to them. But man, if you have enough bodies to just constitute a roster that's decent, the Steelers somehow find a way to win 9 games. So
that's true.
Why I could never definitively say they're a 5-win team if they have an actual starting quarterback, but they're not. I don't think they're a 10-11 win team with that group that you mentioned.
No, I agree. I mean, maybe, just maybe. And I still think you got to ride it out with Aaron Rodgers, but I don't sit here today and say that the Pittsburgh Steelers are a threat by no means. They took their new starting batch of guys is 5-12 Aaron Rodgers, 5-12 Allen Lazard, and I believe 9-8 DK Metcalf to replace 10-win George Pickens at 24 years old and Russell Wilson / Justin Fields that both have starting jobs at other teams. It's a bad setup for the Pitt. Again, I think they're on the verge, just like you said. It's hard. I would never say the Steelers are going to finish in the bottom 15 of the NFL. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be shocked if things got real bad. But again, they could replace them, but I would not be shocked if things got rough.